Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Big up to everyone that's watching, and I hope you're all enjoying your weekend so far. It is a Saturday. It's a pretty pleasant Saturday here, as it stands, and hopefully it stays that way for everyone, whatever your time zone is. And listen, we've got a couple of updates that have come out regarding the club as well. Broja is a done deal. The medical has been completed as well for his permanent move to Burnley. We've also got updates on Nkunku as well as Javi Simmons as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about Esteval and Yoral Hato as well. So loads to get into, loads to talk about today as it stands. And if you haven't already smashed that like button, please do subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot, and it just shows that you are enjoying the content. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get straight into it. I would love to reply to this comment. I have no idea what that means, but big up to you anyway. Let's just crack on, shall we? Let's get straight into it. No messing around today. Fabrizio Romano came out not long ago, literally 5 minutes ago, and said Armando Broja is permanently done. It's a done deal, and the medical has been completed as well. But I think a lot of us are all thinking the same thing. First of all, well, can we not agree that this is great, even if it's I don't even think it matters what the fee is. Obviously, it matters, but this is a player we want to get rid of regardless. But everyone's thinking the same thing as this bloke. Why is no one giving the fee? Why? And then we've got this response here saying Fabrizio said Burnley met Chelsea's valuation, which was 25 million. So I'm assuming we got that 25 million. To which he responds, I refuse to believe a club paid that much for him, which is a bit savage. But if we're being totally honest, it's a very fair point. Why would you pay 25 million for Broja? I'm not saying he's a bad player, but 25 million is a lot for a guy who's never really available, constantly injured, hasn't performed. The best season he's had in the Premier League was when he went on loan to Southampton. How many years ago was that, guys? Enlighten me. 5 years ago, that loan spell. So in the space of 5 years, what has Broja achieved to put him in a bracket of players that should be sold for 25 million to a newly promoted side? By the way, when you're a newly promoted side, 25 million goes a long way. You know, that's a lot of money. And then it's just about spending it right. Not sitting here saying that I've got anything against the deal. I think it's a great deal for Chelsea. But from a Burnley perspective, that is shocking. Poor business. Poor. I just don't think it's good at all. I really don't understand it. There's no doubt that he'll play for Burnley if he's fit. And when he is fit, I think Broja's actually a good player. But I'm struggling, guys. I'm struggling to understand why they've done this. But hey, who am I to ask questions like this? All we can talk about is a Chelsea perspective. And I think it's a happy one. I think it's a good one. I think it's an optimistic one. And it's getting more optimistic day after day after day. It's not getting quieter. It's getting louder. But it's not like it's been in the past couple of years where you think, bloody hell. Now we're going, wow, this is incredible. It's like when you've been shopping at Waitrose your whole life, and then you finally go to Aldi and you see all the amazing deals that you've been missing out on because you've been ripped off for however many years. Or you've gone to Lidl and you see that the fruits are £1 as opposed to £3. Now, the fruit might only last 2 days as opposed to 5, but it's a great deal. God, my God. It's like you're seeing a different dimension of football and how to look at transfers. That's what Chelsea's doing at the moment. They are opening our eyes to they're opening the world of football's eyes, not just Chelsea's eyes. They're opening the world of football's eyes. Oh my God. And by the way, I always find a way to, I don't do it on purpose. I will say this. I really don't do this on purpose. But what I will say is I had an interview with someone that's a part of, I don't know if anyone knows Football Joe. Okay, Football Joe is, it's a pretty big platform. And basically, they do street interviews, right? They do street interviews. And I did an interview with them a long time ago, a while back, years back. But at the time when I did this interview, I actually did it to troll people, if I'm honest. I did do it to troll people. So like what I was saying, I didn't necessarily mean. I had a bet with Father. I said, listen, mate, watch this go viral. And it did. It was a video of me basically talking about the ownership at Chelsea and whether I thought they were good. And what did I say? I said something like that. Todd Boehly could be the best owner in world football. That's what I said. And everyone obviously went, what a mug, Alex. But I was very careful with what I said as well, because I said he could be the best. I didn't say he is. I said he could be. But I mean, the deals that we're getting now, the business, this is one of the best windows I can remember. It's got to be. And again, more credit to what we've been able to build, because it's not like we had a top team to begin with and just added on top of that. We've literally rebuilt everything. And part of that, we've sort of shot ourselves in the foot because, we didn't have to scrap everything, if I'm totally honest. We could have still had some short-term success and rebuilt as well. I stand by that. I mean, we didn't have to have the Potter season, the Pochettino season. We didn't have to have that. But we basically sacrificed 2 years, almost 3. We managed to salvage something in the third, finished very strongly. So now coming into year 4, it's looking very different, very, very different. So, hey, listen, the way I've always said it is that if Chelsea continue to improve, then I haven't got a problem. I don't have a problem, okay, as long as we are improving. And I do think that, I do think that we're, I do think we're improving. I think we're improving. I think that our squad's improving. I think that our squad is getting better. I just feel, it's positive. It's positive, isn't it? It's hard not to feel that way. Right, let's go through a couple of comments. Yes, Alex, how are you? Hope you're well. Hope Broja does well at Burnley. Feel sorry for him a little bit. Hope we get Javi Simmons deal done. I agree with that. Yeah, I'm very well, Amir. Good to see you, mate. Good to see Donna in the building as well. Big up to you, Alex, mate. The BBC's reporting $20 million. I've heard £25 million as well, guys. If that's not wrong, there's something to do with that number. But if it is that's unbelievable business. Do I give the board some props? They do have some serious marketing skills. Yeah, fair play to them, honestly. Fair play. Big up to you, Terry. No matter where I go, I always return to your channel like a loyal subscriber. Donna, you are very loyal. I'll give you that. You're in and out of the door. It's not like you're here all the time, but at least you come back. I'll give you that. You sound like you are complaining. So would you be happy if Chelsea got less for him? What? I'm not complaining. Absolutely not. I'm not complaining at all. The reason I returned to you, Alex, is because I find, oh God, Donna, don't make me blush. Broja to Burnley is the worst decision ever for both us as a club and for him as a player, in my opinion, realistically speaking. No, disagree with that one, mate. I think it's great for Chelsea. And I think it's good for Broja as well. I'm not saying it's bad for him. I think it's just strange business from Burnley's perspective, to be honest with you. If I was a Burnley fan, I'd be a bit like underwhelmed. I mean, listen, anything's an upgrade as long as it's played in the Premier League, as far as Burnley is concerned. And they got to try and get something that's cheap. But I just feel like the money could be spent elsewhere. But again, it's difficult to find strikers. Strikers not an easy position to fill. Yeah, big up to you, Terry. Listen, we're certainly moving in the right direction. And that's all I can ask for. Love this move for the Albanian Ronaldo. He will thrive there and get his confidence back. I'm not single, Donna, so I'm sorry about that. Someday he will regret that decision if he ends up going. I think he'd regret being on the bench at Chelsea more, to be honest with you, or just continuously going on loan. So I don't think that Broja will regret that. He just needs to go to a club where he'll be appreciated and have game time, and ultimately, yeah, that's the most important thing. Garnacho coming to Chelsea is simply irresistible. It highlights the very clear reality that Chelsea does not listen to fans, does not care about fan input, and finds it silly when fans try to have a say. Well, I agree to an extent. I'll disagree in other parts of that. I mean, if you're just looking at transfers, you're probably right. But other things, we know that the CST, certainly does have a relationship with Chelsea where they can make an impact and speak for the fans. So I wouldn't say that's entirely true. But hey, listen, I actually don't have a problem with the Garnacho signing. I seem to be one of those people who's a little bit more optimistic about it. I quite like Garnacho for the good parts of his game. I appreciate that. He's had a rough spell this season, but I even think that even at the beginning of this season, when Ten Hag was still the manager, I watched United and I thought Garnacho was probably one of the shining lights in that team. But he got so unlucky, and I've watched so many games where he could have scored a winner and he hit the post or he hit the bar, and people go, "Well, he didn't score." But you see those moments where he's making things happen that other players aren't necessarily doing, and to play the way he's played at times for Man United. I'm not saying as much during Amorim, because to be fair, Amorim, I think that match is not great. But under Ten Hag, I could see a player in Garnacho defo, and I think that his valuations dropped significantly since January. Man United made a huge mistake, basically rejecting Napoli's offer, which was about 45 million. In January. They will not get anywhere near that if he's going to go permanently this summer. I don't believe anyone will pay that. I wouldn't pay that as a Chelsea fan. I wouldn't pay 40. I wouldn't pay 45. I wouldn't pay 35. I'd pay 30. I mean, 35, you could have a conversation. 30, I'd be content with. 25 is a steal. But 30, maybe with some incentivized bonus payments if he performs. That's something I'm open to. But when you pay 30 million for a player like Garnacho, you're not going to lose money, are you? He's 21 years old. His value's, it's not going to go down. If Broja's going for 25 and you're telling me we can get Garnacho for 5 million more or 10 million more, whatever it is, then it's obviously not going to be a player that you lose money on, especially when you pin him down to a 7-year contract. He's on about 45k a week. You double that easy. He's on 90. Still a huge pay rise for him, but a sustainable wage to move on in the future if you want to. And that puts us in great stead. That puts us in a very comfortable position where we can, maintain control in terms of the length of his contracts and flip him if we want to, but also keep him and just extend his deal and give him a pay rise if he performs well. So that's my stance on Garnacho. Don't have a problem with it. Only if we're spending 40 million or more, then I have a problem. And I think that that's not smart business. But if it's an opportunistic signing, then I don't have an issue whatsoever. I mean, even better still, I'd do what we did with Jadon Sancho and I'd loan the guy with an option or an obligation to buy where you can pay out and just pay a separate fee if you don't want to go ahead with the loan. So that's what I'm thinking. Broja was here from young in England, and he's been at Chelsea a long time and many loans. Southampton, he was looking good, and Burnley need him. They are promoted. It's true. Yeah. It's about 20 million from what we're saying. Absolutely. I owe Bowley an apology. I don't owe Bowley an apology, mate. Absolutely not. I can't believe anyone would say that whatsoever. First of all, can we just remember Vivid Seats is still a thing, guys? Vivid Seats is still a thing. And just because we've got good now doesn't mean that it's been good for 3 years. That's the reality. That is the reality. I'll give credit for where we are, but I don't take back what's happened. That's the reality of the situation. So absolutely no apology. Not to mention season tickets have risen twice since the new ownership has come in, which, by the way, probably had to happen anyway. But I'm not gonna apologize for what I've said and believe to be true as well. You know, these guys are not in the club for the reasons that Abramovich was involved in the club. I know you're not going to get an oligarch again. I know that, but let's not sit here and act like everything that Bowley and Clearlake are doing is out of the love of Chelsea. They're not. It's out of the love of wanting to make money and increasing the value of Chelsea. Now, fair play to them. We now know that actually there was a model that 4 years down the line or going into the fourth year can be successful. And we've seen that now. But for 3 years or 2.5 years, we didn't see that. So I don't think that, I don't think that fans need to apologize if they've criticized the ownership. They have the right to do that. That's why you're a fan. And that's the reality. Well, in our case, maybe we're customers, but we're paying for a product. And if we don't like what we're seeing, then you have the right to criticize that. And that will always be my stance. But absolutely, when people do well, they deserve credit. This is what I've been saying. The market is not 10 years ago. The football transfer market inflation is different in big 2025. Absolutely, mate. Hit the likes, guys. You read my comment up the Chelsea. Yes, people, smash that like button if you haven't already. We've got over 300 people on X. We've got almost 100 on YouTube as it stands. So if you are on YouTube, let's get to 50% at least, which is 50 likes. And on X as well, smash the like button. I know you can do that. Or you can retweet as well if you want to show some support. It all helps, and I appreciate it nonetheless. We're on 30 likes as it stands on YouTube, so we just need 20 more to get up to 50. So smash that like button. There you go. What else have we got? What else have I got? If Broja's worth 25, there's no way we'll get Garnacho for 35. Again, it's a bit like the Hatto deal. We have motivated sellers. Motivated sellers is so important because it's not like we're buying a player from Manchester United that they do not want to sell. This is not the situation that we're in. We are looking at a player in Garnacho who hates Man United, and Man United hate him. The fan base hate him. The manager doesn't want him. Toxic dressing room, toxic environment. Everything about Garnacho at Man United is negative as it stands. This is a signing that can happen for 30 to 35 million. Absolutely. 100% this is a deal that can happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it can. I'm not Mystic Mac predicting what's going to happen in the world of football. I'm not going there we land, here we go, all the rest of it. I'm not doing that. But what I am saying is this is a signing that I have nothing against at the right price. And there was a tweet that actually came up on my thing. It was quite funny. I was looking for this the other day, but somebody found it. It was me and Lewis and Charlie talking about Garnacho and Mudryk. Just have a look at this one quickly, guys.
Mudryk is a better player than Garnacho.
I don't think we should sign Garnacho in January. I do
In
think
January, you didn't even need that.
No, leave that January bit out. What we
no,
need to
I
do
think
is
that in
we
the
need
summer, if he was to
no.
improve. Hang on a second.
Fair play. We found a way to downgrade on Mudryk. Mudryk is a better player.
So that was the clip. Now, obviously, it's been edited slightly, so you can't actually hear everything that was said. But I mean, I was against signing Garnacho in January because of the price. But I always felt like if we could get him cheap, it's not a deal that I'm against. It's really not. Just like I wouldn't have paid 40 million for Jadon Sancho. But when I saw there was an option for 25, I'm all over it. And Chelsea were all over it. So can we not agree that as an opportunistic club, when we do business in the window, it's a fair proposition to look at what Manchester United's situation is and the fact that they need to sell in order to reinvest in players. They've got a young player who's pure profit. You give them 30 to 35 million pounds of pure profit. I believe that we can make this deal happen. They do not want to keep this guy hanging about. The only other option, which I'm potentially happy to do, is a loan with an option to buy. But I don't think United would be keen on that either. I mean, the thing is that I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. This is exactly what I'm saying. They want to get rid of him. He doesn't want to be there. How much did we sell Lukaku for when we sold him? Paid like God knows how much for Lukaku. How much did we pay for Lukaku? Silly money. £98 million. Fucking hell. We did not sell him for that much. I'll tell you that. We didn't sell him for that much. Anyway, let's move on. So we've spoken about Armando Broja. Great business from Chelsea. No problems there whatsoever. Great business from Chelsea. If I was a Burnley fan right now, I wouldn't know how to feel. I wouldn't feel good about it. I wouldn't feel bad about it. I'd be glad that the club's obviously investing, but I'm not really sure I would feel, to be honest. I don't know what to expect from Broja. I really don't. Moving on to Javi Simmons. Chelsea wants to close the deal very soon for Javi Simmons with a new round of talks scheduled. He's not in today's squad against Atalanta. And the reason is his imminent departure from Leipzig. Okay, so we know that Javi Simmons also removed Leipzig from his Instagram bio. And again, Fabrizio said a similar thing. No injury or illness. He's just out of the game because of his desire to join Chelsea, which is refreshing. Like, it's nice, isn't it, when we are a club that has serious pull. And Javi Simmons is a player that could have chosen from a number of clubs if they were to go for him. And he's chosen Chelsea. And again, this is like the domino effect. One player does it, more players do it, and then everyone does it. Or the majority do it, unless we're competing against Real Madrid, like when we were linked with Dean Huijsen, which, fuck, if we would have got Dean Huijsen, can you imagine that signing? That would have been incredible. But I cannot deny that I'm very, very happy with this window so far. And if we get Javi Simmons, I mean, we did our best 11 yesterday on the stream. We did that, and then we did our second best 11. Totally different players. You have two squads fully capable of performing to a very good level. We are blessed with depth. We are blessed with youngsters. We are blessed with youngsters who have now gained some experience playing for Chelsea. We can say that after 3 years. And And we're blessed with a manager who, fair play to him, has been able to operate in a difficult circumstance and deserves full credit for that. We're also blessed with a club with a recent history, but a strong enough history to be able to attract players as well. And we've been able to prove that we can still win trophies. We've won 2 trophies. It's been a successful campaign. Anyone who says otherwise is just being blatantly biased. I mean, the fact that I'm saying this, and I was very critical at times of what we were doing. If anyone else is saying anything different, I struggle to see your logic. I really struggle to see what is bad about what we've done. What is bad? I mean, do you know what? I don't watch as many Chelsea. I'm not watching much Chelsea content at the moment. So, I mean, maybe there are people who are unhappy. How can you be unhappy about us investing not only in bright young players, but also bloody good ones? Bloody good ones. We're investing in leaders like Hato, who's captaining Ajax at the age of 19. We have one of the strongest midfielders in the league on paper. We now have 3 strikers. Our 3rd choice striker was our 1st choice last season. Incredible. And I do think that this Javi Simmons deal will happen, especially now that we're hearing about Broja leaving. We've got money coming in. That's pure profit for Chelsea, by the way. That is 20 million in the bank. If it is 20, it may be 25, whatever it is. It's incredible. It's great business. It's superb. Inter Milan has been talks with Christopher Nkunku's representatives for several days. Enzo Maresca has not made his departure a must in light of the last few months. He believes his player can be part of the project. I've always been a fan of Nkunku. I defended Nkunku a lot when people wanted him out. I said he was poor, and his attitude was poor at times, or looked poor. But I always believed that Nkunku is a player that when you really build the squad in a way that he's able to play where he wants to and where he is best, you will see a top player. And I think that we started to see that in the Club World Cup. We started to see a transformation from Nkunku, from a player that, quite frankly, didn't want to be at Chelsea, and Chelsea didn't want him. That was the first reason that he didn't want to be here, by the way, because we didn't want him. You know, this is the whole point. Nkunku never actively wanted to leave. Chelsea wanted to get rid. Have you ever seen a relation? Well, obviously there are relationships where a guy or a girl, whatever, they're in a relationship. One of them wants to leave the relationship and the other one stays with them anyway. How the fuck does that work? That's the definition of toxic. Who wouldn't want to leave a relationship where the other person doesn't want to be with you? And this is just pure logic. It's criminal to me. So I don't really give Nkunku too much stick. I really don't. Could he have done better? Yes. Could he have put more of a shift in at times? Yes. Did Chelsea play to his strengths? No. Did Chelsea treat him appropriately? No. Did Maresca misuse Nkunku, in my opinion? Yes. So now that we are hopefully going to change something about the way we're playing, and we've already seen in the Club World Cup, we've adopted some different tactics at times, playing him more centrally. We've still played him out wide, but with a license to cut inside and play in the middle, which has been great, by the way, for overlapping fullbacks like Gusto. Then I think there's certainly a place for him in this squad. But if we sign Javi Simmons, it's difficult to see. It's difficult to see where Nkunku fits in. And the only other answer that I would have is you've got to sell someone else, because then who do you put in there? Who do you put in that position? I mean, let's just presume that we're going to go with a 4-2-3-1. All right, let's just presume we're going to go with that. I'm sure we'll change that at times. I'm sure we will. We know our goalkeeper, we know our defense. We've got our midfield sorted out in terms of Caicedo and Enzo. Santos can fill in, Asugo can fill in. Okay, cool. And then, you're looking at other players, and you've had Palmer in the 10. You usually have Neto or Madueke. Madueke's been sold, so Neto or let's just say Esteval or Gittins, they're options on the wing. And you've had Nkunku on the wing as well. But Nkunku, potentially, again, we change the system. There's things that can happen there. He's not going to play as a striker. João Pedro, Delap, and Jackson. So that's Nkunku out of that equation. If you bring in Javi Simmons, you go into a territory where, unless you have injuries, you're really not going to please your players. And then you almost, sounds bad, but you almost want injuries to happen just to keep players happy that haven't been playing. Obviously, I don't want anyone to get injured, but you have to look at the aspect of, let's just say a player stays fit for the whole season and there's someone waiting behind him. It's not a great feeling as a player who never plays. Whereas usually what happens is a player gets injured, someone else fills in, a player returns from injury, and then maybe there's a bit of competition or he just takes that spot back. But then at least you know that player who filled in has had a part to play. And I think that, that's how you keep a happier dressing room. I don't know if that's the right example. It probably doesn't sound right because it sounds like I want players to be injured. I don't. But how else are you going to get players in and justify not playing the other players unless there's an injury? You just can't. So listen, if we're playing a lot of games, if we're competing in all competitions, I don't see any reason why Nkunku can't be a part of this squad. But bringing Javi Simmons into this, I'm struggling. I am struggling. I mean, Chukwuemeka's gone. Dewsbury Hall is always a fringe player for Chelsea. He'll remain that way. I don't think he'll get sold. He's actually quite valuable to us, although we know that Fulham have been linked with him. There's about talks of what, £30 million, £35 million. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see where that goes. But I like Nkunku. I think he's a good player. I think he's good enough for us. I think he's good enough for Chelsea. And I think if Maresca uses him properly, I think Nkunku will actually be a regular for Chelsea, like he has been in the Club World Cup. He's played a lot of games in the Club World Cup. Not every single one, but a decent amount. And that's how I could see Nkunku playing in the Prem if we weren't to make any more signings. But again, I haven't accounted for Esteval. I haven't accounted for Jamie Gittins. Where do those players fit in? Does Neto maintain the level that he's had during the Club World Cup? Because he, quite frankly, was our best player the whole tournament. Credit to him. You did your mate Jota proud by sticking with it and then going on to win the competition. That deserves so much credit from a mentality perspective. I'll never forget. I think it was the Palmeiras game, wasn't it? And that was just after Jota had died. And I remember seeing Neto walk out onto the pitch. And I just thought, my God, like, this guy's fair enough. Fair play to you. Because just imagine that was you in that position. How would you cope with that? I don't know how I'd cope. I'm guessing they were very good mates. Like, I don't know if they were best mates, but they were very good mates. If one of my very good friends passed away, I don't know if I'd be able to go on the pitch and do that. I really don't. Good evening, Rubix. I hope you're doing well. I'm just glad we have options. That way we can't pile pressure on players who are off form. Absolutely, mate. You're absolutely right. Simmons will come with attitude. He starts, and that's a problem, in my opinion. Well, again, it's kind of like what Rubik said earlier. We have options. So if someone doesn't want to fucking get with the program, off you pop, mate. And that's the reality of this situation. But if you're good enough, you're good enough. And that should be the mentality the whole way around. We've got Leslie for 23 million plus Dewsbury Hall for 30, Esteval for 51 plus add-ons, Drinkwater for 35, Desassi for 39 or so. I think Garnacho for 40 or less is smart business. You can always resell. Why are we bringing Danny Drinkwater into this? Where's Danny Drinkwater come from? I mean, at least the other ones were recent signs. Where's Danny Drinkwater? Where's the relevance there? Yeah, I mean, I'd say Garnacho's worth more than Ugachukwu. I'd say he's worth more than Dewsbury Hall, less than Esteval. Probably, well, you'd have to say he's worth more than Drinkwater, wouldn't you? And he's probably about the same as Disasi, maybe less than Disasi, about the same. So, yeah, I mean, when you look at it like that, then you could say 40 is just, you know, a deal you could justify. But I'm not happy with 40. I mean, look, I'm not going to complain actively. I'm not going to be one of these guys who's started this online campaign about why Garnacho should not be a Chelsea player. Hashtag Garnacho out, or hashtag Garnacho don't come. Whatever the hell the hashtag is. I don't know what the hashtag is. Something like that. Listen, I think the player's good. Even if we get him for 40, we could probably sell him for a profit. And if you're him on a 7-year deal, you just loan him 5 times and then you sell him anyway for 20 million. You've probably still recouped your 40 million, which is what we've done with João Felix. We loaned him out. We got 5 million and then we sold him. And that loan fee added on to the transfer fee, we stand to make a profit if all those payments come through. So he could still be sold for a profit, but I have to say I'd ideally like to spend less than 40, less than 35. Ideally 30, but 35 I can accept and still be happy. 40 I think is, I think United are getting a good deal then. Big up to Jordan. I hope you're doing well. Daniel says he's good, but he's lazy. Well, listen, you've got to understand players when you bring them in. I don't think Nkunku's lazy. I just don't think he's a runner, mate. I think that, you know, different players have different abilities. We all appreciated Berbatov back in the day. He wasn't a runner, but he was a great footballer. And I think Nkunku's the same, you know, not quite like Berbatov, but I think that you've got to appreciate the qualities that he's offering, and he's offering a lot of quality. This is no bum. He is one of the few players who actually proved himself properly before coming to Chelsea. He was an established top player, top class player that anyone in the world would have been happy to have at their football club at the time he come into Chelsea. Regarding Nkunku, Maresca must hold some blame for putting him in the firing line. We needed a goal scorer to relieve us of Jackson, and then he threw Nkunku in to play in his least preferred position. You're absolutely right. Big up to you, Tantenda. I hope you're doing well. Big up to Wendy as well. Good to see you. We can still get rid of Sterling, get the wages out of the books, and any club not interested, if we can't get rid of him, what are we going to do in that situation? Well, they will get rid of him. They will just pay a large portion of the wages, a bit like Arsenal, where we paid 225k a week and Arsenal paid 100. And I guess, do you know what? That was the best 100k we saved ever. Best 100 grand we've ever saved. I'm really scared that we're going to be undercooked for the start of the season. We won't be up to speed fitness-wise until 4 or 5 games in. I think you make a great point. This is a scenario where, honestly, you just need to rely on the players to be professional. And listen, they're getting paid millions of pounds to play for Chelsea, to play in the Premier League. If you're not going to have a suitable level of fitness when you get back, I'm not saying you have to be able to do, you know, the bleep test to a maximum level or anything like that, but just get to a stage where after a week or 2 of being back with the club, you're basically back to 80, 90%. And as long as they're maintaining that, I don't think we can really criticize them much. The guys need to have a holiday. They need to have a life. I'm all for people having holidays. I basically had a holiday when I went to America. I mean, I traveled a hell of a lot. I did a lot, and it was quite a tiring holiday. It wasn't really a relaxing one. But it was pretty much a holiday because I didn't work. You know, I didn't do my normal job for a month. So a holiday is a great thing to have, and then you reset and you've got no excuse. It's a mental thing, isn't it? When you haven't had any time off, even if you want to push forward, there's got to be a part of you not just as a player, but in life, that thinks, shit, man, I'm really burning out here. But you might not be able to stop, but you might, that can affect you. So I think it's just good from a mental perspective, from a physical perspective, just to reset, cool down. I don't care if a player's having a beer on the beach. I don't care. I do not care. These guys are human beings. And yes, they play for Chelsea. I want them to succeed. I want the club to succeed. Happy players are better than unhappy players. Let them have their time off, crying out loud. And that's it, really. I mean, that's my stance on that. And Nkunku has been given multiple opportunities in multiple positions. Let's not blame Maresca for anything about him. He has not been good. He was barely okay at the Club World Cup and everyone was happy. That is not true. Absolutely not true. I don't accept that. That is extremely harsh, my friend. Extremely harsh. And Nkunku actually provided Nicholas Jackson with some genuine competition at the beginning of the season. We all remember that Bournemouth game. Yeah, we all remember that. And then he just wasn't given a chance. The guy wasn't given a chance. So, but there's no other way to describe it. You look at the games that he was involved with, and you tell me, did he have the same opportunity that Nicholas Jackson have? Did he have the same level of trust? Was he played in his preferred position? The answer is no. He featured in the Premier League 27 times. Scored 3 goals and got 2 assists. But how many minutes did he get? 910. All right. So 910. It works out. Hang on. It works out 30 minutes a game. So I just struggle to see just over 30 minutes a game out of the 27 that he was involved with on average in Nkunku play. I struggle to see how any player is going to gain rhythm, momentum, and also when did he play those games? Yeah. So was he given the opportunity at the beginning and then he fluffed his lines? Or did he not have a chance to begin with? I mean, for fuck's sake, look at this. He started the opening game of the season as a left winger. Everyone needs to remember that. Left fucking winger on the opening game of the season. Left winger against Palace. He played 7 minutes, 4 minutes, 11 minutes, scored a goal. 26, 11, 9, 14, 12, 2, 9, 19. And it was 14 matches before he had a full 90 in the Prem. Are you fucking joking me? And it was against Southampton. He scored a goal and got an assist. Like, don't talk to me about a guy who can't perform, because when he is given consistent minutes, we've seen that he can. Both Conference League qualifiers, scored. Let's look at this. Internationally, fucking left winger again for France. What the fuck? Why did they play him as a left winger? FA Cup, scored against Morecambe. EFL Cup, hat-trick against Barrow. Where's the Conference League games? That's what I'm looking for. Conference League qualifiers. Oh, there you go. Where's the Conference League games? 9 games, 8 GA. I just find it very difficult when people criticize Nkunku when the guy hasn't had a proper opportunity. I really find it difficult. He got 20 GA barely playing any football, in the Prem. How much GA did Jackson get? And by the way, I'm not a Jackson hater. Everyone knows I'm actually a fan of Jackson, but I'm a fan of Nkunku as well. I'm a fan of both of them. It's just unfair to say that, Nkunku was let down. And yes, you could say in certain games he let us down, but he got 20 GA. What did Jackson get? Right, Jackson got 19 GA. So I'm sorry, I just struggled to see it. I struggled to see that argument, mate. I struggled to see it. He improved dramatically in the Club World Cup, which is why people were happy. with him, not because we have low standards, because we had standards and he actually started to perform and we were like, oh my God, this is actually good. Thank God. Look what happens when you play the guy centrally. Injuries ruined him again. It's just there's no proof of that. I mean, injuries made it difficult, granted, but he could have had a good season if he was given minutes. And Palmer is a part of that issue as well. I mean, if Cole Palmer wasn't so good, then it would be a little bit different, wouldn't it? We would see Nkunku starting regularly in that position, but we have Cole Palmer. Now, maybe there's an argument, and this is where Javi Simmons comes in and does really well, is there'll be certain games where you play Palmer and Nkunku sort of more centrally so you can have the fullbacks overlapping. You can have Reece James in the midfield like we've had against PSG, as opposed to, wide players like, Jamie Gittins or whoever it is. And you've just got different options. You can rotate. I mean, you can do different things. So I think Nkunku's an asset. I think he should be utilised. But if we get Javi Simmons, I think that there's a good chance he gets sold. I don't have a problem with that. It's just how it is, isn't it? Fucking stop calling me, mate. Sorry, guys. Someone keeps calling me. Absolutely, Luke. We've got to get excited, people. We've got to get excited. Smile. Give me some happy emojis in the chat, for crying out loud. Right. But anyway, Inter Milan are interested. Going back to the original point, Inter Milan are interested. This is according to L'Equipe, which is a French source. We know a lot about L'Equipe. We hear a lot from L'Equipe. I personally think that Nkunku would do very well in Italy. I think he would do quite well at Inter, especially if the team's actually built around him. This is not a guy that you play in a team that sits back and has a low block. This is a guy who needs opportunities. He needs service. He needs his team to create chances. He will create chances, but he's a little bit different to a player like Palmer, who can, quite frankly, just carry us on his back. So, look, all the best to him. If he goes for 40 million, I think it's a fair deal for both sides. And ultimately, you just need the player to move on. If he wants to go, he can go. But I don't mind Nkunku. I haven't got a problem with him. Nkunku is pony man. Good luck to him on his future endeavours at a new club. 28 is the new 21. Nkunku, you can do it. Don't even know what that means. 20. What does that mean? 28 is the new. Fuck knows. Am I still Enzo Maresca? Martin, you're late to the party, mate. No, absolutely not. No chance. Nkunku is a better player, but injuries have been a setback. Cashing out is not a bad idea. It's true. It's true. It is true. But listen, everyone's going to have their own opinions on these matters, these situations. And ultimately, you're either going to like it or not. So I respect what people think. Hato's medical has been completed. He's signed his 7-year deal at Chelsea. We already knew he was going to come to the club. I think that Joel Hatter ultimately, when we look at this player, is a player that Chelsea fans just need to say, we have got an absolute bargain here. And let's look at the list. Let's think about the list, shall we? This is always fun. Chelsea signings. Yeah. All of the players that we have signed or sold this market. And just think to yourself, how many of those players were genuinely worth the money we're paying for? And that doesn't mean, they're going to perform for us now. But at the time, if any club was to pay. Like, is that a realistic? Is that a fair price? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I think yes. I'm pretty sure most of these are accurate. All right. So we start off with João Pedro, who I think was overpriced, 63 million euros. I think that, to be honest with you, that's too much money. I'm not sitting here saying that. I'm not saying that he won't perform for us or he couldn't be worth that money in the future, but I do think 60 million pounds, 63 million euros, is a little bit expensive for a player who had 10 GA and 5 of those goals were or 10 goals, sorry, and 5 of them were penalties last season. That's just my opinion. But that's not to say that it's not a good signing. I think it's a great signing based on what we've seen. But potentially we could have got him for a cheaper amount. Brighton have done very good business there. Jamie Gittins, another player for me, inflated price. That was Club World Cup tax. I would have paid 10 million less. Honestly, I would have paid 10 million less max. So I think it was about 55 million quid, 50 million quid, whatever it was. I wouldn't have paid more than 40, 45. I honestly think that was my max. Again, I like Gittins. I haven't got a problem with him. I think we've overpaid. So those are two that I think we've overpaid for. Liam Delap, fantastic business, 30 million quid. No one's complaining there. Great business. That's a good one. Esteval, looking at what we've got now, fantastic. Expensive at the time because we signed like a 16-year-old. But now looking at what he's going to be worth, this is a kid that could be worth over 100 million quite easily. Great business again. So we're 2 for 2 right now. Two good, two where I think we've slightly overpaid. Asugo is saying 22 million euros. Again, I think that's probably fair. I think that's a fair price. Mamadou Sarr, we brought him in and we've basically given him back to Strasbourg this season. So I'm not really sure what to think about that one. Kendry Pars, I think we got on a good deal. And yeah, so it's pretty mixed in that respect. Obviously, Bro has great business. Vega, if we would have sold him to Madrid, would have been great business. So we'll have to wait and see what happened there. Felix is great business. Petrovic is good business from a financial perspective in terms of making 11 million pound profit, but it's poor business in the sense that he's worth more than 25 million. He's worth at least 35, in my opinion, at least. And to be quite frank, he's our best goalkeeper. So I honestly don't think that was good business whatsoever. I wasn't happy with that. Who else have we got? Those are the main ones. We sold Bashir Humphreys as well to Burnley. That was good business. That was about 12 million pound pure profit. So mixed business, but ultimately, even if we overpaid, we can look at the positive side of it and we can go, these are actually signings that we can get behind. We've had the privilege of actually being able to see a lot of these players playing in a competitive, high stakes environment, which a lot of clubs haven't had the opportunity to do because, well, they haven't been in the Club World Cup, and we have. So for that reason and that reason alone, we have to be, grateful in that sense. But have we had a tweet? Have we? I'll check that out now. But yeah, we're now in a position where we can look at what Chelsea are doing right now, and yeah, it's a great place to be, guys. It's a great place to be. Right, let's have a look, guys. Let's have a look. Chelsea have asked Javi to push if they have been getting nowhere on price. Next step is Javi to ask their board formally to let him leave. Chelsea working on outgoings in the meanwhile. So, yeah, no surprises there as it stands. But again, Josh, if you look at his comment underneath Max, he said, Fabrizio said we were in advanced talks with Leipzig. I wouldn't say that's getting nowhere on the price. So slightly contradicting statements there. I don't think that this is anything really special, to be honest with you. The guy wants to leave. Chelsea want him. Leipzig want to get their money's worth. I'll say fair play, to be honest with you. Fair play, Leipzig. Also, at the same time, though, be careful because you could be in a bit of a nasty situation if nobody else wants to pay the money, and then you're just left with a player who could potentially leave in January for half of the price, or he leaves on a free next summer anyway. So be careful, Leipzig. Don't demand too much, but I don't think they're being unreasonable on price. I think they're being pretty reasonable, in fairness. They're basically trying to make a small profit, and hey, listen, this is the business, isn't it? So we'll have to see where that one goes. Garnacho yesterday. Garnacho to Chelsea, something that won't happen right away. It's going to take some time before they enter into that. Chelsea have to sell players as they want to find solutions for current players before signing more. Also, the valuation will be important. Timing is relaxed, not at the negotiation stage. And I guess the reason it's relaxed is because nobody else is paying. So as far as Chelsea are concerned, this is nothing like the Osimhen deal where you have a world-class player. But if this is a deal that happens on deadline day, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Man United at that point would have no other option other than to hold on to the player and continue paying his wages for another however many months, which is what, 45,000 times bang times bang. Okay, so about £1 million in wages until January. And yeah, just there's no point keeping the guy. There's no point keeping him. Don't get it. Although Amorim said, listen, people could potentially be part of the squad, but why would you build? I mean, your club can't be in that much of a state that you're building with players who don't even want to be there. I mean, that is just a sad reality if that's what Man United end up doing. That's a very sad reality. Well, it's more than 35 quid, I'll tell you that. But if you're talking about millions, it's probably around the £40 million mark, 45. In fact, the Athletic did report on this. I think it was 43, which was similar to João Felix. And that the Al Nassr deal was less, but the add-ons brought it up to around that mark. So, yeah, that's what I can tell you about price. I mean, this would be jokes as well if foreign clubs put in a bid for Garnacho that they accept. Like, imagine they got 50 million quid as a bid, or 60 from like a Saudi team or something like that, and Garnacho just refused to leave. That would be hilarious. And then Chelsea end up getting this guy for 20 million less further down the line. But who knows? Honestly, who knows? Smash that like button, guys. Come on. If you haven't smashed that like button, please do. It all helps. I appreciate everyone watching as it stands. We've got over 120 people on YouTube. We haven't even hit 100 likes yet. We're on just over 70. Let's get at least 30 more people liking on YouTube. Let's get up to 100, triple digits. And big up to everyone that's watching on X as well. We've got over 600 of you. Smash that like button on X. I don't even know. I never really stream on X. How do I? I don't even know how I see what I've got on X. Don't use X enough. Part-time Xer. Yeah, we've only got 12 likes on X. Come on, people. We've got over 600 of you. Let's see if we can get up to at least 100 on X as well. That means only 90 of you need to do it. But I appreciate it nonetheless. Big up to everyone watching, especially if you've been here for the whole stream. But shout out to everyone that's jumped on as well. Any update on the front of shirt sponsor? Yes. The front of shirt sponsor is basically not really being rushed. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. Chelsea are willing to accept a deal, but it doesn't have to be before the campaign starts, before the Premier League season actually begins. So there's a good chance that we accept a deal a couple of weeks, a couple of months into the season, because they will not accept less than basically around 60 million. That's kind of what they're looking for. And fair play, when you're the world champions and you're playing Champions League football, you command the respect. Pay me what I am worth. And then you look at what other teams are getting anyway. And I'm sure that, our lack of seats in the stadium, we have to try and make up for that somehow, because our revenue on a match day is not anywhere near Arsenal, Man United, all these other clubs, purely for the fact that we don't have the seats. So I have no problem with Chelsea taking their time if this is going to work out as a net positive. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But listen, guys, I really appreciate your time. Big up to everyone that's watching. That wraps up the show for today. I will be back tomorrow with another live show. So really appreciate everyone tuning in. Feel free to join tomorrow on Sunday as well. And we will catch up very soon. All the best, guys, and enjoy